In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create a photo design using Simplyscapes. So when you start out on the dashboard, you can either hit New Project or Photo Design. You can either upload an image or view our library of existing photos. So I've selected the photo that I'd like to upload. I'm going to open it up and confirm that this is the image I want to use. Now that it's there, I'm going to use the tulip icon on the right to add my first plant. I know I want to add in a tree, but I want to explore what options are there, so I'm going to scroll down, and once I find evergreen trees, hit See More, and I want to add the weeping white spruce. So I'm going to add it with the plus button, and then use the side buttons to resize it into the proper size. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but this time I know I want to add in a Japanese maple. So I'm going to use the search bar, type in maple, and add in this plant. I'm going to resize it once again, move it into position, and this time I'm also going to use the flip tool on the bottom. So I'm going to speed through this section of adding in the rest of the plants to my top planter area. And now that I've finished that, in the lower portion, I know that I want to add in some perennials. So I'm going to go to the perennial section, hit See More, so I have that filter, and then I think I want to add in some black-eyed Susan. So I'm going to type in black, add that picture in and size it down to the proper size. I also can see more details about this plant, including its size, its hardiness zone, times that it blooms, and good information like that. And then I'm also going to use the duplicate button on the bottom toolbar to add in another one, and then I'm going to add in another picture for this plant so that my design looks more natural and realistic. Now I'm going to fill in this area with a few more grasses, so I'm going to add it in, size it down. Once it's the size that I want, I'm going to use that duplicate button on the bottom again, so that way they're all the same size, to add in 3 grasses. And now that I've finished up pretty much on this side, I'm going to add in a couple more things and then move to the other side. So I can click and drag to move over to the other side, and I've decided I want to get rid of these rocks along the left side of my design. So I'm going to use the lasso tool in the top right corner to clone a portion of my photo. So I just click and drag to create a full box that will allow me to clone that portion of the image. So once I've created that box, I can move it anywhere I want on the design. I'm also just going to resize it so that I can fill more space quickly. Now I'm going to add in this next plant that I want to have here. So I have this beautiful Daphne bush. We're going to put it in, and then that's looking good. I want to bring some of those grasses over to the other side, but as you can see, they're layered behind the mulch. So I'm going to use the position tool to move it forward in the design. I'm going to do the same thing with those coral bells. And then I'll resize it. Everything's looking good to go. So now that I've finished most of my design, I want the grass to look better because this picture was taken during the winter months. So I'm going to use the bottom button to choose materials. And I'm going to choose this grass, and all you have to do is, similar to the clone tool, click and add points along the design of where you want that material to fill in. So once I've completed the entire box, it will fill in automatically. But as you can see, this is not completely accurate to the shape that my lawn actually is. So I'm going to use the bottom right button to add more points to my material. And I can just click and drag so that it aligns with the actual shape of this lawn. And so you don't have to do too many points, just enough to kind of get that general idea. And this is pretty quick to add in a nice curvature to that material. You could do the same thing with pavers or concrete, but grass is a great example. So now that I've got all my plants in, I can also use the button on the bottom left to view a list of all of the plants that I have in my design. And this is helpful because then I know when I'm working on my yard which plants are there, and it also prepares me to go into the garden center and buy them. And so as you can see, with not very much time, we've been able to create a beautiful design, and you can do the same thing too by creating a free account at simplyscapes.com.